In this video, I'm going to go over how I made my 13th Doctor striped shirt. I will include a list of materials and links in the description box below.
Just a disclaimer, the shirt you're about to see me make is not actually this one. It is this one. So you can notice right away that there's just one difference, and that is the color and width of the stripes. So the method for applying them is exactly the same.
Inside your transfer paper packet, there are two different kinds of sheets. The opaque white paper is the one that you'll want to print on. I'll put a link to the stripe file that I made in the description, as well as a link to the transfer papers I used. Make sure that the stripe transfer is completely dry before cutting it out, leaving no white space around the stripes and as much of the design intact as possible. I used a scalpel to cut mine, but scissors would work much better as I found the scalpel pulled up the edges of the design. Another error that I made was that I didn't wait for the transfer paper to completely dry, which caused white spots in the design. Since the paper I used is shorter than the width of the shirt, I needed to piece the stripe together from smaller pieces. In order to ensure a smooth transition between the pieces, I checked that I had cut them to the same width. In order to get the perfect positioning on the shirt for my stripes, I put on the shirt and a piece of high-waisted clothing. Jodie Whittaker wears blue trousers with her shirt, but what I wear now doesn't matter as long as it's high-waisted. This is because I'm looking to see where the stripes go proportionally on my body, and a higher waistline makes your torso appear shorter than a lower one would. Next, I held the stripes up and marked the top of where I wanted them to go with pins. This line could also be marked with chalk or tape. I took the shirt off, peeled off the transfer paper backing, and carefully lined it up with the pins. I double-checked that the stripes were level by measuring the distance from the shoulder seams to the stripes and making sure that they were the same. Since I'm going to be piecing together the stripe from multiple printouts, I measured the distance from the side seams to the edge of my center stripe piece to make sure the measurements were the same. I then placed the translucent page from the transfer paper pack on top of the stripes and began to iron. When the stripes are properly adhered to the shirt, they will be darker than the original printout. Once the center of the stripe was adhered, I lined up the edges of the other stripe pieces, ironed the matching edge in place, and then cut the other end to match the side seam. After that, I noticed that due to error, I had left a small gap between my stripe pieces, so I cut a small strip of stripes out and ironed it over the gap. Although this did fix my mistake, I'm not completely happy with it because this patch left a visible line on the front of my shirt. To avoid this, just make sure that you match up your stripes better than I did in the first place. And that's how I made my 13th Doctor striped shirt. I hope you enjoyed this video or found it useful. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to see more content like this. Thanks for watching!
Stripes.